I said, well, I've had a kind of a bird's eye view in Colorado. Right. I said, let me, obviously on the cannabis side, but this was hemp, and this is, same industry-ish at that time. It was right around the Farm Bill passing of 2018.
Oh, yeah.
So it made hemp federally, legal at a federal level in most instances. And I said, give me a few weeks. I need to wrap my head around how we can leverage PR, editorial third-party endorsement. Let me figure this out. I can't say yes right away, but we worked together for so many years. I'll find a way, but I need to just figure out how to crack the nut.
This sounds like a very smart man. Back here at Benzinga 2024 Miami, Florida with another episode of Meat Unshackled. There's great content if you're walking around and finding it, but that's why we have Meat Unshackled, so that we can bring some of those content, some of that conversation to you. And the original format of the show was we're going to conferences across the world, across the country, and Demetri, you're meeting wonderful, fantastic individuals, having these great conversations, learning about cannabis. And wouldn't it be nice if we took other people with you?
Yeah.
So the concept of Meat Unshackled is to allow for that the audience to experience that one-on-one, nice to meet you for the first time experience, right? So we're meeting for the first time here on Meat Unshackled. You guys are as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Max and I know each other.
Everybody's new to me, but now you're friends.
So I'm Max.
Now you're friends.
Yeah, pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
Welcome to the Circle of Trust. You are now in our own little bubble of.
What brings you to Benzinga?
So I was a speaker. I spoke just a little bit ago on the state of Florida, and it originally the topic was, is it going to be on the ballot or not? But we know now it is on the ballot. So we got to talk about Florida and all the good things, hopefully, to come November 5th.
Okay.
So your name
we're
is
excited
Duree.
for that.
My name is Duree. I'm Duree Ross of Duree and Company.
Okay. What is Duree Company and Company?
Company.
Yes. So we do public relations, marketing, special events, crisis. Certainly lots of a crisis in cannabis.
Lots of crises.
He has a lot of crises. Crises. Is it crises or crises?
Crises.
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 Yeah.
It's like you don't say. What is it? It's cacti.
Yeah.
You know what I
Cacti.
mean? It's the same thing as cacti.
I went to public school. Don't worry.
So did I.
But you went to New Jersey. New Jersey has public schools. God bless New Jersey. It's a horrible
Where
state,
did you
but they
go?
have good public schools.
I went to GT public
Arizona.
schools.
Arizona.
I was a gifted and talented public school.
That's
So
funny.
you were like really high level. New Jersey. So I like to make fun of New Jersey.
We were super trained.
I see that. You're not a fan of New Jersey, it seems.
Not really. The people are nice, and the public
my mom is
educational
from New
school
Jersey,
is nice.
so
Yes.
the people are very nice.
People
Yes.
My
are
whole
very
family.
nice, but the state as an environment, it's flat.
Okay.
It's kind of mildewy.
No,
It's kind of like salt air.
You were only in Atlantic City. You didn't leave
Yeah,
Atlantic
you can't
City.
judge. I will say
He's
you can't
judging the
judge
entire state of New Jersey from
on
Atlantic City. Atlantic City is its own little bubble outside of the rest of the wonderful state of New
I'm
Jersey.
not running for president of the
But
United
let's
States,
not talk about New
call a
Jersey.
spade a
Let's talk
spade.
about Duree.
Yes. Talk more about Duree.
So I started Duree and Company when I was 24.
Okay.
And
A year ago.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you how old I am right now, okay? So I started at 24, and I've been in business for 24 years. So do the math. Anyway.
You are a PR expert.
I actually started in PR at 19. I started in PR at 19 and then started my company at 24.
He entertains himself over there.
I do.
I see
Well, it's also
that.
no, because I was
My
trying to
team
give
is
you a
over
fist
there.
bump, and they were like looking at it.
Fist bump,
Thanks
fist
for
bump,
leaving me
fist bump.
hanging,
Sorry,
Duree.
sorry,
God.
that's why they were laughing. That's my team. Instead
Yeah, they're
of
like,
showing
they're
me
shooting
that,
that. I'm like,
okay.
Let the adults talk.
Okay.
So we've been in business for 24 years, and we've been in cannabis for more than 7.
Right.
Okay.
And it's a really cool, interesting story, I think, because we had been working with a longtime developer, a real estate developer, who was getting involved in the hemp space. He was investing in a hemp company, and he called me and he said, I need you. I need your expertise. Come help me. I'm investing in a company. I need you. And I said, well, I'm a part-time resident of Colorado. I'm born and raised in Miami, South Florida.
You are?
I am. I'm a native
And where's he from?
Miamian. He's also from South Florida.
Okay.
And the company, their facility was in Colorado. No relation to me being in Colorado. It was just a good coincidence.
Just happened to happen.
Yep. And then he said, figure it out. And I said, well, I've had a kind of a bird's eye view in Colorado. I said, obviously on the cannabis side, but this was hemp, and this is, same industry-ish at that time. It was right around the Farm Bill passing of 2018.
Oh, yeah.
So it made hemp federally, legal at a federal level in most instances. And I said, give me a few weeks. I need to wrap my head around how we can leverage PR, editorial third-party endorsements. Let me figure this out. I can't say yes right away, but we worked together for so many years. I'll find a way, but I need to just figure out how to crack the nut.
This sounds like a very smart man.
I'd like to think he's very smart.
For a variety of reasons.
He's smart. He's smart enough to reach out to an expert.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
But he's also coming into the industry at the right time, the hemp part.
Yeah.
The hemp part, it was we worked with the company for a lot of years, and he is no longer involved, I don't think. But we still have great friends there. There were some big requests that they had of us on the PR side, and we got it. So it's not exactly easy.
No, it never is. It never is.
Especially in today's world, right, where we have a client, they want to be on national live business TV.
Right. And talking about cannabis. Yeah, talking about hemp and cannabis.
Not easy.
No, because we do SEO and digital marketing for companies.
Do you get it?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, boy.
We had the hardest time. We actually did a whole press write-up for a client of ours, only to have it denied. You know what I mean? After paying for all this stuff. And then we had to go manually submit to all the writers that we knew instead of just doing it through the normal press wire services, which... If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
If you don't know, you don't know.
You got involved with this guy, then what happened?
So then we started working on this particular company, and we were all in. And so then we got involved in some great organizations. Because I said to my team, first of all, if we're going to go into this space, if we're going to go into this industry, we're going to go all in, we're going to go big, or we're going to stay home.
Absolutely.
And I threw my weight behind getting involved in organizations, nonprofits. For a couple of reasons. One, I felt it was the right thing to do to support the industry. I wanted to learn more and be kept abreast of what's going on at all levels.
Right.
And I felt it was the right thing to do. And so it was a win-win for all parties. And so...
And you're based out of Colorado this time?
I've always been... So we have our primary headquarters is South Florida.
Okay.
And then we have a satellite office in Colorado.
Okay.
So, but most of our brain, if you will, is based out of South Florida, but we have clients all over.
Okay.
So we have clients in Colorado, both within cannabis and outside of cannabis, and then all over the U.S. So right now we are working and or have worked in 15 plus states and counting for cannabis clients.
15 plus states.
It's a lot.
That's a lot. So are you working for retail? Are you working for brands? Are you working for initiatives? Are you working for campaigns? Are you working for cultivators? Are you working for who? What's your
I'm going to give you
client type?
the lame answer. You know when you're taking a test and the answer is D, all of the above?
Yes.
That's it.
Is there, because right now you were here talking about Florida.
We were talking about Florida, and I would really say the way we like to think about it is we work with people up and down the cannabis supply chain.
Okay.
So they're professional, there's lawyers or CPAs, professional services. Certainly we work with MSOs, multi-state operators, which are companies that are operating in multi-states on the cannabis. Lots of CBD, hemp.
And they're not necessarily bad people.
No, they're not.
There's a misconception that MSOs are somehow negative. There's negative context. I like to break that stereotype.
We work with some incredible clients, and that's a prerequisite for us is who we work with, is they have to be really, really great. And I can't throw all of my efforts behind something that we don't believe in, and so it would be disingenuous, quite frankly. So for me, and we're an extension of all of our clients. We're part of their team. So if we're not working well together, it's not going to work.
Yeah, it's an integral.
It's not going to work.
Yeah.
So Florida, what do you see happening in Florida? What's the future here?
So everybody's very excited. For a while it was just get it on the ballot and it will definitely pass. Now that it's on the ballot, everybody's a little nervous, not going to lie. That was a huge part of the panel I was speaking at about here at the Benzinga conference. And the concern is that the threshold is so incredibly high.
Yeah, I was going to say, why are they nervous?
It's 60%. And if you look at historically, now, everything's, again, in perspective historically. It also depends on the type of election. There were some states that passed at 57%, like Ohio. And so that's a really, really high threshold, and that's the concern. is
And
the
it's even
threshold.
more of a concern with the market structure model that will be instituted and already exists in a sense, that was put into the initiative, where only a certain number of license holders who exist, and some people that are going to get awarded licenses this summer get the medical
But it's
licenses.
it's very
And
restricted,
so
right?
the,
It is.
The
They're-
consumers and the activists and the people out normal out there who look at this, they're like, that's not really cool because it doesn't allow for a lot of opportunity.
Right.
And it creates a model where essentially every citizen, every employee, every person that wants to get into the cannabis industry becomes either an indentured servant of like 50 to 100 license holders, or can just
Are there even 100
screw off.
licenses?
Now there
We
will
have
be.
22. There are a couple of Pickford farmers
Right.
licenses, and then there should be another 22 being issued very soon, which you referenced.
Yeah, about 50.
To come, and then. And the framework, if it does pass, all of that then needs to be looked at. So even
Right.
that, yes, Florida is vertically integrated. So
Right.
that's a barrier to entry for a lot of people.
Right, because
And
it
Well,
is.
the licensing cap
No,
is
no,
the barrier to entry. The vertical integration actually it hurts the people that are already in. It actually hurts the licenses that exist. The 44 licenses in
Well, yeah, because
in
if they're
Florida,
not vertical,
they're all
they
hurt
can't-
from
yeah.
the vertical, but they hurt each other. But it hurts a very small group of individuals. This licensing cap doesn't allow other individuals, whether it's manufacturers, brands, or retailers, to come in, which inevitably hurts the patients and the consumers. So if you look at this legalization measure with a critical eye, with that being the most important thing,
Well, it's
not just
it's
a general
essentially-
access.
From what it sounds like to me, it's an all or nothing kind of license, right? Like you're either all in on a vertical, or it's like,
Yeah.
hey, I just want to grow.
right.
Then it's like, oh, sorry, we can't help
Yeah,
you.
it's
Well,
You
and
know
from
what
a PR perspective, we love cross promotionals
Yeah.
and working with other brands, and being vertically integrated makes that very, very
Yeah.
difficult. You have to
And
grow
that's a
it all
challenge.
yourself.
And that's a huge challenge. But they'll change that because the legislature has the opportunity to alter that, and that will get changed quickly because it's in the best interest of these verticals
That's a hypothetical.
to change
We
it.
hope. I mean,
Yeah,
I
that's-
think there's
that's a
hope for that.
hypothetical.
What won't change is the number of licenses,
caps, yeah.
because it's up to the legislature under this new initiative to issue new licenses. And we all know it's a very conservative legislature. They're not going to issue more licenses. And those who have existing license holders, those 44, will hire lobbyists to go into the Tallahassee and tell them, do not issue more licenses. So no new licenses will be issued. And then when it goes to interstate commerce, these license holders will make sure that they control the access to the cannabis. So if you're looking at it from a supply chain perspective, or a market structure perspective, or an entrepreneurial perspective, or a capitalism perspective, or what's the opportunity for labor or for employees to one day rise up and become their own boss and become part of the capital class or investment class or ownership class, it's zero. So this initiative
For Florida.
sucks.
Yeah.
Honestly, it really does suck if you're looking at it from that perspective.
If you're looking at it
If
from
you're
that
looking from that
perspective.
perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that and honestly, I think if it does lose, and it will lose because of that, not because the public doesn't want legalization. I think the public wants legalization at 60+ percentile.
Well, I think, but here's what's interesting though. It comes with a caveat. It's like if you want legalization, there's a lot of people saying we want legalization. Don't worry about everything else because we just want to get it passed.
Agreed.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then the flip side of that is also it's like no, hold out. Let's wait until it's written the right way.
And I used to be one of those guys that said, it doesn't matter how it's written, let's just legalize. But at this point, it's inevitable
It's inevitable.
that
Yeah,
the United States will legalize. So my point is that if I was
I don't know. We've been hearing that a really long time. I mean, I think, yes, at some point, but I don't know that. I don't know.
if I was in Florida, I would vote no. If I lived in
Really?
Florida, yes, for that very reason, because
Wow.
I've seen too much. I've seen hundreds of thousands. I'm really always
He's from
thousands.
Arizona too, so
But you see all these employees, these laborers, these people, they go to work for these enterprises. They learn all the skills of a cultivator, of a manufacturing center, of a brand. Actually, brand's a little bit different, of a retailer, and they one day want to be something other than somebody's employee.
Right.
But then they go to the state and they say, how do I get my own retail license? Well, you can't.
You cannot.
Because there's
Yeah.
only 44 of them, or there's only 174 in Arizona.
Yeah.
So you're stuck being an employee unless you raise $5, $10, $15 million to buy your own retail license. Or in Florida, these licenses are going to be worth $50 million because they're so restrictive. And everybody knows the game is clear. It's very clear what's going on. Everybody knows that the people who win the licenses are going to go hire lobbyists, and they're going to control Tallahassee, and they're not going to issue any more licenses. That's how it's done. It's not a conspiracy theory. This is a reality.
But go ahead.
No. Listen, I don't live in Florida. I have no fucking flag on this one. I want to hear your side on this because you do.
And I get that. I certainly understand that. However, let's play devil's advocate. Right now, we have 22 licensees. Not even all of them are operational. You really have, if you look at the OMMU numbers, the Office of Medical Marijuana, the amount, and I haven't looked at last week's, but there's one that's the big, Trulieve is the big one.
24.
But the thing that I think people need to think about is, and we were just talking about this on the panel, there is going to be an expansion if it passes. Right now, we have 22 licenses, and they're not even all currently open and ready. So you're talking about more than doubling.
Oh,
right?
go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
You're talking about more than doubling. And, I've worked in this space. It's not easy. It's not easy. I'll tell you, it hasn't always been exactly easy from a female perspective. Not that it's been hard. I think it's hard across the board. But our clients have always been great with us. But you're now talking about more than doubling just the licensees. Now, what these licensees have to go through, I don't know. I mean, you said they literally right now, if you're an applicant, you have already a lease, you're paying for rent right now.
God. You already have to
your
have a
facility
building to apply, don't you?
Yes, you have, and you're paying for that now, and you're
Before
just
you're even
an
approved.
applicant. This is millions of dollars for people trying to apply.
Yeah.
That's set by the state. So we have clients who, we know, and we've kind of navigated what does that look like. We have expert sources that can speak far better than I can on the legalities, implications, and all of that stuff. But I don't know. I'm a business owner. I still think that more is better. I think more opportunity. There's a lot of stuff going on with, in a lot of components of this industry. And so there's a lot of talk about THC caps and Florida coming in and adjusting the THC caps.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to come, but I don't know. I'm going to disagree. I think we've got to get it passed. And on our last panel, I was with some really esteemed colleagues who are, they're working. They're sellers, right? They're growers. They sell. They have their license holders.
And there's in Florida. In Florida,
there was the Florida panel. I was just a PR person, but I've worked with them, and they're ready, but we also have to be ready in case it doesn't. From a PR perspective, that was my point on the panel. They said, well, how do you prepare? And I said, well, you prepare.
Yeah, you can prepare, but you're preparing.
We all hope,
at
least I do. I know you don't, but I hope it goes through because I think it still is. It's a very, I know you're from Arizona, and it's the process in Florida to get a card, and when you're thinking about that perspective and the barrier of that and needing to renew it quite frequently, it's not a good situation. And that does remove that component. So if you're a patient and you need your medicine, you don't have to go see the doctor it's
every 6 months, right?
It's like 7 months.
Yeah, every 6-7 months you have to renew your card. You have to go see a doctor. You have to go see a doctor in person.
It used to be during COVID where it was virtual.
It's not telehealth anymore. Like you physically have to show up.
So there are barriers to that. So I do want to. None of this is perfect. None of it has been. None of it will be. But I still think.
It can help a lot
I'm a business owner that it can help a lot of people. And think about all the new stores that are going to open, the money that's going to be behind it. So am I ever going to be a license holder? Probably not. I own my own business, but I couldn't go after a license myself. But they do have social equity programs, and you have the Pickford farmers and things of that nature. So it's fun times, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely interesting, and you know your way around the subject, which is fantastic. And thank you for having this discussion with us, because I like to talk about this because it's very important to me. This is a B2B show,
conference,
and our audience is entrepreneurs, our entrepreneurs, as employees who are trying to learn, investors who are trying to find different things, people in the industry. And if we do not have a marketplace that is open and vibrant, we don't have any opportunity. There's lawyers can't find new clients. PR people can't find new clients. Employees can't rise up to retail or cultivation.
Yep.
And so from my perspective, my little channel like this, I'm not thinking about the patients. I'm not thinking about the consumers. I'm thinking about what's in it for the market structure. And I am a free market, right-wing, libertarian, capitalist open market, limited government guy.
Sure.
That is my thing. And I've realized that the importance of this, because when you have a market structure that doesn't allow for the opportunities, the hopes, and the dreams of the unborn child of your neighbor's son that's coming 50 years from now to participate, you don't have a good economy.
Sure.
And eventually you can have some sort of revolt, some sort of revolution, hopefully, if they can't figure out ways to keep you down long enough. You know what I'm saying?
That's deep.
And no, well, I mean, it's true, though. And it really is happening. And it's happening here in the cannabis industry, and it's happening state by state. And sometimes you have situations. I mean, the people that are speaking up against this initiative are not wrong. Now, it's a matter of competing interests. What's more important to you? I mean, if you're right, if it's more important to you to just have consumer patient access more easily, that's fine. To me, it's more important to have opportunities and hopes and possibilities for all these employees over here. So I would vote no. Because I don't want
Well, then
cannabis.
I guess it's a good thing you're not a voter anymore.
Oh,
I-
and this is what makes Me to Unshackled such a phenomenal podcast
because I know exactly how it works, because I used to be a registered lobbyist, and people come to you and say, how can you control the market structure? How can you manipulate things? Who do we have to donate money to in a campaign, or what politicians am I going to buy and sell in order to secure my place for long term? That's the reality that we create. And that's the reality that your children inherit. So, you know, you can do what you need to do now, but you're going to create this world for other people to live in. And Tallahassee is it's a swamp, just like Phoenix is, or D.C.
I no comment on Florida politics from me at all. I don't live in Florida.
Yes.
I do come here every once in a while for events and shows and stuff.
I promise you, out there, whoever's watching this, how many people live in Florida? I promise you that most of the millions of people in Florida that listen to this are listening to me and saying, hey, that guy's right.
They may be. You know, here's the thing.
The kids love me.
You don't. Yeah, they do. And I mean, here's what I'm excited about.
He's trying to be politically correct over there.
Because I'm fucking Switzerland here, bro. You know
What
what I mean?
what kind of clients are you looking for in the cannabis space?
Me? You know, well, when you say that, you know, there's no opportunity and things of that nature, as you were saying
here's
that.
the hit back. See, this is the whole thing.
I was just thinking about.
No, but it's funny because I've done a lot of episodes with Dimitri, and he's very passionate about what he believes. And it doesn't always, you know, because I think about it from a small business owner standpoint as well, from a growth aspect, and I'm just like, I get it conceptually. Some of this shit is perfect world situations. You know what I mean?
You run SEO. There's 44 licenses in Arizona. I mean, in Florida that could hire you. That's it.
That's fine.
That's it.
Here's the thing: if there were 40, how many of them are in the same city?
They have tons of their
here's the
over
thing,
600.
as an SEO agency, ethically, morally, and ethically, I'm only going to work with one in the city.
Correct.
Because I can't take on all 5 in the same area and say like, hey, we're going to get you to the top spot.
You're saying competitors.
Yeah, you can't take on competing businesses to do their marketing to get that top spot.
Maybe I'm a little weird like that, where I like to see everybody out there have a little bit, rather than a few people have a lot.
Like, welcome to the Terror Dome gladiator pit of business, though, and I love the battleground of business, but I also believe that there should be, you got to give people a chance to make it work.
But it's not a battleground for business.
But it is a battleground.
If the government comes in and says these 44 people have an inherent advantage, and they're the only licensed people can have swords. That's not a battleground. That's not a fair playing field.
But it's better than 22.
But it's better than 22.
No, every single person
0.
should have the same access to the battle.
But do you want to hire? Don't you want to hire the best in your field? Don't you? I mean, you're the best at SEO. I'd like to think we're among the best in PR.
But you don't want the government involved in the process. So as a consumer or patient, I want to go to the best retailer. I don't want to go to the best retailer that the government tells me has a license to be retailer. I want to go to the person who can do it.
Okay, but
I say the government.
Here's the thing.
I am apolitical, believe it or not, in my world, other than cannabis. I just, you know, I'm not a fan. I don't. I deal with a lot of. I just really try to keep it not political because
because then it goes so much deeper.
It goes deeper.
This is more philosophical discussion.
No, but from a philosophical standpoint, like, here's the thing. On one thing, it's like, yes, everybody should have the right to do whatever they dream. And the other aspect is like, bro, if I need to go into surgery, I don't want the same kid that's like, I think I should be a doctor, versus like, hey, I did all this to get to where I am.
Is cannabis production surgery?
Yeah. growing good weed and actually, dude, like the
Really?
thing.
I mean,
Tell
growing
my
bad weed
grandmother from
and
the
with health
mountains of-
implications is not.
Growing.
I'll tell all those Humboldt farmers that were growing great weed in California for decades that it's surgery.
It's not. There is an art form to it. It takes a lot of practice. You're not just. I can't grow weed. Well, I could grow shit weed. You know what I mean? I could grow stuff that's going to get rotted.
Poor Duree is like, I've walked in the middle of this conversation
I'm
that these two guys.
fascinated.
No,
we had this ongoing conversation about this.
There is an art form. This is why he likes me on as co-host too, because every once in a while I come in, I'm like, listen, I don't agree with you, because there is an art form to it. There is a level of skill. It's not just like, hey, I want to do this, so I should do this, versus like, hey, like I'm actually really fucking good at what I do, and I put the work in, and I'm dedicated to it, and I'm financially, emotionally, spiritually invested in what I'm doing.
We got to wrap this up.
I know, we do.
Let me leave you with one thought, Max.
Yes.
Sorry, Duree's like, these guys are crazy.
No,
Sorry, but
Duree, hopefully.
she's good at PR
I'm
like
enjoying
that.
it.
She's right in the
I'm
middle.
enjoying
She's like,
No, imagine if our founding fathers,
yes.
who were farmers themselves, farmers who were running from the licensing systems of the principalities of Europe.
Was it
in
the licensing
70s
system or the taxation systems?
They were running,
and the religious persecution systems.
they were
or
running,
hey, we're just going to drop.
The reason you
Okay.
had taxation that wasn't accountable to the people,
Right.
because you had licensing systems that were the king of
Well, yeah,
England,
it
the
was-
king of France, who controlled all the services, all the goods, all the taxation.
It was actually more the tea company.
But the tea company had a license that belonged to the king of England.
The tea company had a monopoly on tea.
So the king of England was controlling the tax structure
Right.
and the tea company.
Right.
So our forefathers, who were farmers,
Right.
said, we can do this ourselves. We want to be outside of the realm of this licensing structure, and we want to be free, and we're going to create the United States of America. That's what happened, and that's what the cannabis industry, these initiatives, these referendums, they haven't forgotten. They're being drafted by people that are protecting their own interests.
Absolutely.
That's
because-
what's happening.
Well, who
the
else is
world.
going to draft
Yeah.
That's the
who
world.
else is going to draft the rules?
Unfortunately, I mean, that's everybody's.
You know what?
that's-
I want to give up all my rights. Here we go. I'm going to write some shit that's good for everybody else except for me. Nobody does that. So the flip side of this, though, is I think, listen, here's the thing. In cannabis, from a federal standpoint, we're all criminals. You know what I mean? And we're, on a state-by-state level, still federally, it's still not legal. And I don't expect it to be anytime soon.
Poor Duree. This was supposed to be about her company.
No. But this is no, because
Duree's like-
then you wouldn't hit some fucking.
You know
hospital.
what though? This is a very good example of public relations
Yeah.
and crisis
And this is why
difference
you
of
hire
opinion
somebody like Duree
and
and
key
company
marketing messages
to do
and
this.
all the things.
Yeah, well, because it's also. But here's the thing: from a business standpoint, businesses are born to make business. You're
All
gonna
right,
have.
we gotta go. We gotta
All right,
go.
we do. Thank you so much for watching this wonderful Duree.
So if you're coming to Benzinga,
That's it. I'm out. I'm taking my. No, I'm
if
good.
you're coming to Benzinga, you got to meet Duree. She's cool. She's involved
She's
in a lot
great.
of organizations.
She can sit between both of us and manage this.
And-
if anybody that can sit between me and Dimitri when we start getting like this,
And
I highly
she,
recommend.
as a public relations master, because
Yes.
as we started to disagree, she kind of stepped back, took the high
said,
ground, said, I'm going to just listen to these guys, see what they have to say, and compliment both of them. You know
There you go.
exactly how to do this.
You actually, that was a
number one-
wonderful
The, num-
cool down.
the number one public relations firm in cannabis.
There are several, but we're happy to be one of them. Yes, thank
It
you.
will be. So if you're a brand, if you're a cultivator, if you're a retailer, if you're a manufacturer,
If you need somebody to
Both
represent
plant
you,
touching and not plant touching.
there you go.
Up
reach
and
out
down.
to Duree and Company.
Yes,
I want to say Duree and Associates, but Duree and Company's good too.
that's a DUR.
Yeah, and please come back and join us. And if
Yeah,
there's
no,
anything,
seriously.
anything we can ever do together, let us know. And we look forward to interacting with you, introducing
Sounds
you
good.
to
Thank
potential
you.
clients, and getting to know you better in the cannabis space.
Maybe we'll do some SEO stuff together.
Oh, I love doing SEO
See?
stuff. That's actually what I do enjoy doing. Not like I don't do anything about politics. I just go, bah.
We'll be back in another episode of Meet Unshackled.
Thank you
Thanks.
so much. See you in the next one.